Hi, folks. Michael Trone here from Insurance Agency Automation Associates, your favorite AMS360 consultant and trainer. This month's video is about the ability to capture a live document, one that can be edited inside of AMS360 by use of a note. I hope you enjoy this video. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to add a new note here so we can do a little bit of work to them. I can open a new note in two different ways. If I'm on my notes view, I see no note here, I hit new note. Or I can come up here to my quick access and click new note there. They both get me to the same place, so it doesn't matter. I'm attaching it to the customer. I can attach it to a policy or a submission depending on what's there. In this particular case, I just want to have it there. So I can put a note in here and you can make it sticky and all that, but I don't want a sticky note. I can date stamp it, time stamp it, all the rest. Don't necessarily need that for this purpose. So what I do need to do is hit an attachment. So there's attachments there. This box should look very familiar because it's what we use when we do activity attachments. I'm going to cancel there real quick. So I can, like I said, I can hit attachments here, capture it that way. But I can also just drag it in just like when we do an activity. So I'm going to go grab something off screen here and drop it in here. They both get you the same place. I tend to be a drag and drop, less clicks, less movement. So one thing you want to be careful about with this document is realize that I have an Excel worksheet labeling it, and this is an old document, so don't get too hung up on that. And I'm not going to necessarily doc type it right now. I can, but I'm going to say OK to that. Once I say OK, I see the attachment there. I'm going to go back to the attachments again, and then I'm going to hit V for view. I'm going to minimize that for just a second, and you can see there I have V for view open. And I have it open. It did not change anything. So let me go bring that back to live. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this alone for the moment. We'll talk about what it is. And then I'm going to say OK. Then I'm going to say save and close. Now we see it here under my view, under my notes view. Shows an attachment there. And it shows whatever I attach it to, in this case just the customer. I didn't put a note in, so now I'm going to open it up again. This time I'm going to put a note. Loss review for auto in this case. Okay, I'm going to save and close it one more time. Just want you to see now that note appears here. Okay, so that gives me that opportunity to do that. So I'm going to open it one more time. I'm going to open my attachment. So now I have a V and an E button here. Once I saved it, I get that opportunity to view it or edit it. When I had it open before I saved it, it was just a V for view. So V means view it, E means edit it. So I'm going to hit that E. I'm going to minimize that for just a second. And you see now it says O and S. So when I have the document open for editing, it is S for save or O for check that it checked out, or open in this case. Okay, let's bring that worksheet back. And let me make that fit a little bit better for you. So the concept here is that we're going to be able to bring our loss summary in to not an activity, into the system in its native and raw form. You can use this for a bunch of different ways. I'm showing you a spreadsheet here, but some other options I'll talk about in a minute. So let's say that I'm working on this renewal or a piece of new business and I'm gathering 5 years worth of loss runs. As they come in, I'm adding them to this summary. And I won't know until I have them all with the summary is finished. So instead of holding it on a workstation, on a desktop, on a server, on SharePoint, wherever, keeping it here so that everybody with access to the customer has access to this worksheet and can edit it or view it. So I go ahead and change whatever it is I want to change. Not going to get into the details now, but let's just go ahead and change. Let me make this 42, 52, 58, just so that's something changed. I'm going to notice it's got an auto save on. It's got save. If I want to save it locally, I can, but I'm going to highlight that field one more time just so we can find it easier in a minute. So I'm going to close it. It says, do you want to save it? Save, yes. And notice that O and S is still there. Okay, so O, it means open it, and notice that change we made is there. Okay, so I'm going to close it. Nothing saved this time. So when I say that O, it's very important. If I had just closed this attachment by saying OK here and then saved and closed the other thing, I'm going to hit cancel here. So I'm going to say OK. I want you to notice O and S. OK. It's giving me a message there. It says it's been checked out. Do you want to leave it checked out? I'm going to say no, I don't want to leave it checked out. It says, are you sure you want to close and leave document checked out? So I'm going to say, actually this time I'll say yes. I'm going to save this without closing it. Then I'm going to go back over here. It still says ONS. So the scenario I want to present is you did not save it. You go home for the night and you shut down your workstation. You log out of 360, you shut down your workstation. When it comes back tomorrow, you may not have the changes because you didn't save it to the system. You closed the system, but changes weren't saved. So always catch that S and check the document in. Now, let's say you go to check it in, or somebody else does, and it shows that, you know, who it is. In this particular case, it shows my computer name. It shows my name there, Michael. But maybe you don't know who it is. So what you do is you check it in for yourself. But if they came back into it a couple days later and somebody didn't check it back in, you have to undo the checkout and then reopen the document and make the changes again. That's why that's very, very, very important. I'll say it another time. Very important. Okay. So I'm going to check the document in. Now it changes the V and E. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to save and close. And those changes are there. So now I'm going to go back to the attachments. It's V and E again. So this time I'm just going to view it. I don't want to make any changes. And it got my change right there. So that's what's very important about that. I'm going to say OK there. Save and close. So while I've shown you how to do this for a loss summary, you can pull in documents and save them there and keep them for when you're gathering things up. I don't like doing that, but I have seen people do that. When you're done, you can come over here and create an activity. So the activity then allows you to pull those documents in, do all the normal things you did. The attachments are already there. In this particular case, I did not give it a doc type and didn't change the naming, so it keeps whatever's there. That's why sometimes they're better off doing it in the beginning. I'm going to say cancel to this. I am going to let that activity go through. This runs. Save and close that. And I'm going to get a message at the end here. It says activity has been created from this note. Would you like to delete the note? Yes or no? I'm going to say no for the moment, but you might say yes depending on what it is. Just keep that in mind. That's it for this feature. I look forward to talking to you on the next video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to ask you a favor. Be sure to visit the webpage for insurance automation. It's ins-automation.com and browse around there. Now at the time of this recording, it's still in the old format, but within the next couple months it's going to change formats, but the information is still the same. Resources for Agencies is a nice place to visit. It shows you some information about some third-party services. Contacts is good as well, because included there is a way to book a consultation meeting with me, the 30 or 60-minute meeting. Click that and it'll take you to my calendar. You can peruse around the other places. The other things I'd like you to do is go to the newsletter setup if you're not already a member. Click that link and then it'll bring you there and answer the questions here, and you'll be automatically subscribed to the newsletter. And then finally, up here, there's a YouTube video, or you can just come to YouTube and search for Insurance Agency Automation. Look for that little triangle there. So be sure to subscribe so you get all the notifications and new additions. Hit the button over here that says subscribe. Hit it one more time, that little bell, and say all. So when you have a darkened in or a lightened in bell, depending on how you're looking at it, that means that when I make updates to the page and add videos, you get a notification. There's a lot of videos here already, and we'll be adding more every month going forward. Be sure to tell your friends as well so they can subscribe and get notifications. Thank you.